Hi everyone, it's Donnie Lowy. I'm at closeoutexplosion.com. Hope you're having an amazing day today. Today I'd like to give you some tips on how a retailer can beat Amazon. Now, as many people know, whether you're in the wholesale business or in the retail business, Amazon is a fierce competitor. Now, there's a caveat with what I just said, and that is that although Amazon is a competitor, it's not a direct competitor. This is what I mean. When someone comes to shop at your store or at your warehouse, it's not as if Amazon is next door or it's a mile away. It might be a click away, but when someone is in your location, whether it's in your warehouse or your store, they're not going to have Amazon right next to them. So you can actually make the sale provided that you have competitive advantages, you have the products that people want, and you're able to demonstrate the value of what you're looking to sell. Imagine if Amazon was a department store like Macy's and they were in the same shopping mall where you're located, then it would be much harder to compete because people could simply walk out of your shop, take the escalator up, and go into Macy's. But with Amazon, they have to place an order. Now, Amazon could deliver the product the next day. Now, in some markets, they could even deliver the order in a few hours. But still, people would have to go ahead and place the order. If they need the item right now, then you have a very big advantage. So the first thing is, your store should offer convenience. You need to be able to have the products that people want on a regular basis and have them in stock so people could buy them right then. Another convenience factor you could offer is same-day delivery, and perhaps even delivered within the same hour. Just like restaurants have fast food delivery, you can also do the same thing with your store. At the beginning, it might seem expensive to drive out to deliver an order for just one customer, but if after a while, if you have many customers that are buying from you on a regular basis, that same trip could be used to distribute orders for 4, 5, or 10, or hopefully even 20 customers. Number 2, on Amazon, most of the things that people buy are products that are being stocked by either the supplier, the brand, the designer, or a wholesaler that's buying merchandise. Now, why am I making that point? Because most of the merchandise that's available on Amazon, not everything, but most of it, according to what I've seen, is merchandise that is being sold through a regular wholesaler or a distributor or the brand themselves. That means that they're not going to sell their products for less than the wholesale price that they're charging to their customers through other sales channels, which means that if you're able to buy that merchandise on a closeout basis, you're going to be able to sell that merchandise for less than is being sold on Amazon. But you won't be able to just call Calvin Klein and buy dresses from Calvin Klein and then hope to sell them for less than Calvin Klein sells them directly on Amazon, unless your costs are at the bare minimum. Now, what you can do is you could call Calvin Klein. I'm using Calvin Klein as an example. You could call Calvin Klein or call another brand, find out what merchandise they're selling as a closeout. Maybe the end of the season, they're looking to clear out their samples. Maybe they have some unsold merchandise from orders that were canceled, or they had overproduction. Look to buy that closeout merchandise and then try to sell that merchandise on Amazon. Keep in mind that there are restrictions that you might not be able to sell every brand's products on Amazon because some of the brands lock in their products, and Amazon also, from what I understand, is going to want you to supply them with an invoice when you sell brand name merchandise to show that you bought the merchandise directly from the brand. It's possible you don't have to do that, meaning it's possible there's merchandise which you don't have to have an invoice directly from the brand. You could have it from the source that you bought it from, whether it's a wholesaler or you bought it from a retailer, but you should definitely do your research. Another way to compete with Amazon is to go out into the marketplace, visit wholesalers like myself, see what closeout merchandise is available. You can always negotiate to get a lower price, then take that merchandise and sell it on Amazon. Now, the challenge with that is that you might not get all of the brands or all of the colors or all the styles or all the sizes that you want, but the benefit is that when you do buy closeout merchandise from a wholesale business, especially if you're buying it from a closeout business such as my business, you're able to buy the merchandise at substantially below the regular wholesale price, or to be fair, you should be able to buy it, because if you're not buying the merchandise at below the regular wholesale price, you might as well buy it directly from the manufacturer or from the brand. So when people come to my wholesale business, for instance, I have brand name dresses that could normally wholesale for up to $70, $80, or sometimes even $100 a dress, depends on what dress I have in stock. And I sell the dresses for as low as $15 a dress. So that's another way. Now, another thing you could do is you could go to sample sales and find merchandise that's being sold at below the wholesale price, buy that merchandise, and then bring it to your store. Now, I do mention in this video you could sell the merchandise on Amazon because that's always a good way to sell it. But if you want to sell it just in your store, that's fine also. You could use the same strategies, and instead of just selling the merchandise in your store, you could sell it on Amazon or exclusively sell through your store. That's completely up to you. Now, another way to have an advantage in your store is to find out when there's a store going out of business and then make them an offer and try to buy out all of the merchandise or the majority of their merchandise, because if you're buying merchandise from a store that's going out of business, you should have the opportunity to get the merchandise at substantially below the regular wholesale price. You could often buy merchandise pennies on the dollar, and then when you have the merchandise in your store, you're going to have merchandise which you could sell for a lot less than similar merchandise or the same merchandise is being sold for on Amazon. It's very important in your store that you always demonstrate the value of what it is that you're selling. All right, my website is closeoutexplosion.com, and I'd be very happy to do business with you. Thank you, and have an amazing day.